Morning, campers. Welcome to Camp Chat. My guest today is Drew, and we're just going to be chatting around the campfire about anything that comes up. Usually, Drew, do you want to perhaps introduce yourself very briefly?
Sure. My name is Drew. I am up in Canada in BC. I met Latham back in 2022, I think.
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
All right, that's
And,
enough.
and
Okay, so typically we start with uh, just sort of a moment of silence, and we just wait to see what comes up. Can we talk about how we met? This is my favorite. This is maybe my favorite sham story of all time.
I think it's one of my favorite stories as well.
I've told it probably 50 times. I don't think I've ever heard it from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pivotal year for me. 2023. I was kind of trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to, learning who I was, and festivals became kind of an avenue where I was starting to discover more about myself, and it was my first like mega festival, and was there with friends, and it, yeah, I was lost, missing all my friends. You how do you find them again?
As one
And
does.
I was sad on the outside of the village, just like looking in, literally watching from outside of the village, watching everything happen, and sad, and then bumped
That's
into
funny.
you, and we got chatting. And I remember you said your name was Latham. I think you had tripped over a root, or I had tripped over a root, but we like
I
actually kind of like
tripped.
listened to each other. Yeah. And I made the joke. One of my favorite movies was used to be Step Brothers, and it's like, did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
And
I was
yeah,
running back into the village because Sub Focus was playing and I was missing it. So I was literally running, which you shouldn't do in the dark, and I tripped over a root. You just scooped
yeah.
me up.
We chatted for a while, and and after a bit, like,
But you
you'd
said
said
it
your
very
name was,
excitedly. You were like, "Did we just become best friends?" Like looking right in the eyes. Did we just become best friends? And I was like, "I think so."
yeah. And then you took me around the secret spot, which I won't talk about on here because we can't give it up. But
Secret spot.
took me up. We made it to the front, and
Oh, sure, sure, sure. It's not a secret.
yeah,
I won't say it if you don't want.
it's subtly quiet.
OGs.
This year it
Only the
was,
OGs know.
yeah, it was pretty busy this year, but yeah, went in and just danced, had an amazing night, and it was a big deal for me to be like, oh, like, I'm not alone. I can make friends. I can, have this time, and it was a really cool night. And I didn't have any of my friends for the bulk of it, and made new ones.
That's so cool. So this year at Shams, I had a little piece of paper. I'm not sure where it went. I might have given it to someone else. It's on the top of my clear backpack, so everyone behind me can see it. It says in
Mhm.
cursive, "You are not alone." Someone gave that to me at Burning Man last year. I was just
Oh
standing
wow.
around and they must have thought that I needed it, and they didn't say anything. They just handed me the piece of paper and walked off. And I think it's still I can't see my backpack from here. I think it's still in my backpack.
I think that's the cool thing about these environments where you meet. It's so open and unlike a lot of our normal interactions with people, where you are off center a little bit. You don't know
Yeah,
necessarily what to expect. Everything's a bit all over the place, and then you meet these people that just do things that wouldn't necessarily be all that welcomed in the normal world, and then here you just have these amazing experiences, and very heart open experiences.
yeah. I've been talking about this a lot lately. So I've been increasing my public persona.
Yep.
My friend Cameron, you saw my Military to Shambhala podcast. I think you're aware of that. Cameron's the guy who interviewed me. He's a good friend of mine from
Okay.
Seattle. I was telling him some festival stories, and he was like, you just need to like put a little bit of that online, and it's gonna be really cool what happens. And he was right. I've got like camp chat. I post on Instagram a lot more. And then
Yep.
the interview he did for me has really elevated it. Like people I meet randomly at parties, they'll just Google my name and they'll be like, "Oh, this is really dope." So it's just really interesting to have a sort of like, it's really neat. It's opened so many, like, even though I'm not an influencer, like this
Yeah.
podcast has 12 subscribers. I'm happy if I get 12 likes on my Instagram post, and they're all 1/3 my family and other, close friends. But nevertheless, and the Military de Shambhala podcast has 500 views. 500 views. And but it doesn't any sort of presence. It's the people who people matter who will find it, and it's kind of cool. But to bring it back, I've been talking a lot about festivals and the meaning of festivals and the community and the integration, and especially with a friend that I made recently, and yeah, we've been diving into it extensively.
Yeah, like how did you get in? What was your first festival? I remember you sharing a story of your first sham, but
You haven't heard
you know,
that story?
is this the khaki shorts and
Yeah,
polo shirt?
yeah. So
Have you told?
there's the public version, which is
Yeah,
I told a brief version of it, not really the full version, but a brief version on Cameron's podcast. Maybe I
yeah,
should do a full version of the public tale, because there's public and private. There's stuff that only my friends would really understand, like aspects of it. I can send
yeah.
you that, but I'm not going to put that on YouTube. Uh, but I should do the full thing, because it's a really I should just everything I remember, just get it all out there. But the short version is that yes, khakis, shams, uh, and the same thing. I was like, wow, I'm not alone. Like, look at this. All these people are so open, and they're just I can talk to anyone. That was like I kept saying that to people after the festival. I was like, you can talk to anyone. You can talk
Yeah.
to anyone. Like, it's not like that in real life anywhere that I know of. I guess at a party or something, but not just like for an entire week, everyone you see.
Well, I'm always curious about that, of the impact of festivals and the experiences we have, and then there's always a glimmer of that we bring back into everyday life that we're going through, and
Mm-hmm.
you forget about just uh, how we're supposed to act a lot of the times, and you just like compliment someone. You're like, oh, I really like your hat, and then you just walk away. Like, it's just like there's this really different experience with festivals, and yeah, that it's a fascinating experience to see, like, okay, is that energy and experience coming into everyday life with people after?
So I feel, not to humbly submitted, I feel that I do a great job of that. And my kids call me the compliment guy, because I will take any opportunity pretty much to pay someone a compliment. Like if someone's jamming out in their car next to me, I'll roll down the window and be like, "Yeah, sick tunes, dude." And my kids are like covering their faces, like, "Dad, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
It just takes a second. Like someone's, and it's thoughts you have anyway. Like, "Oh, that those shoes are cool," and you just take one tiny step further and go, "Hey, those shoes are cool."
Yeah.
That makes my whole day when someone gives me a compliment. So yeah, but that's the
When I
whole
think it's
point. The whole point of these festivals, it's not just you go there and have fun and that's it. The whole point of them is to bring that out into the rest of the world.
yeah. When I think that the thing that makes festivals interesting, and especially talking to a lot of female friends that I have, of you can go and your guards down a little bit more. It's not like in life where people you're worried everybody's hitting on you, or I've never had that concern, but no, the worry that everything's kind of a play, and you go up and you meet people at festivals and you talk for a little while and you have these amazing moments, and then you're like, okay, bye. Like, you don't need to exchange numbers. You don't. It was just like, no, we just had an amazing time, and I wish you the best. And there's a real honestness to it that isn't a strategic play. It's not part of the game.
Yeah, there's no expectations. Everything
Yeah.
is temporary. You're just sharing that moment.
Hmm.
Sometimes if someone like makes their like a lot of times people are like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I got to go. My friends are there, like they're trying to apologize." And I just say, "Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Have a great shams."
Yeah.
Just kind of puts a little like, it was worth it. It was worth it, even though we're never going to see each other again. Except we probably will.
Sometimes, I mean, at Shams, it's definitely crazier. Like
Yeah.
there's so many people and so many big stages, and like the idea for me to go like Tomorrowland, even I'm not really looking to go back to Shams. I think it's outgrown the size for what I enjoy.
Oh,
But then
really?
I run
Interesting.
into
Because I
people.
think of shams as very small and intimate. compared
So
to
I went,
EDC, Tomorrowland, like other.
yeah, and those don't really appeal to me. Obviously I want to see the acts and I want
Me
to, but
neither. Not
the
anymore.
the the big crowds and like especially like pushing through the crowds, I don't really enjoy that, or pushing out of the crowds as well. And I hadn't realized it, and then I went to Base Coast last summer, and that was just a couple weeks before Shambhala, and it was just such a different vibe. And if you were at a stage that you're like, and you just walk to the next one, and you could get right up there, and there was enough people, like it was still a great amount of people, but there was
Mhm.
space to move and dance, and um, yeah, like you could just kind of get around, and there was art, and there was interactions with people, and you kept seeing people because it was smaller. It was only like 4 or 5 thousand people. Um, so you'd kind of like see the same person over and over again, and then eventually maybe you interact with them or whatever. So it had more of a quaint, maybe that's not the right word, but yeah, it had a real community feel to it.
That's a really good metric. If you feel like you can walk around without being too crowded and jostled and having to shove through people,
Yeah,
it's the right size. Yeah, 5,000. That would be really cool. Because to me, Shams is like that. I feel like I can go anywhere at Shams.
yeah.
Like we went right up to the the secret spot you're talking about where we with the door. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, I thought you were
No,
saying
no,
front.
just
What's this?
just just that hack to get up to the front there. Like it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
used it
Go in the
you
side.
funnel in,
Go in. Yeah.
you go
Let's not tell
like
too many people.
yes.
That's
Um,
interesting.
but even that this year, I still struggle to get into the village there.
Yeah, you were coming through the crowd to me. That was such a beautiful moment. I was just there in front of the speakers, and then your face appeared. You looked so eager. You were like, "Oh yeah, here we are again, same exact spot, 2 years later." What a great moment!
Yeah. Well, it was
And then we
interesting
went
because
off,
it's
and then we went off and
yeah,
sat by ourselves for like an hour. It was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was like Delta Heavy's coming back. Should we go?
Did we leave
Um,
that for Delta Heavy?
yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna stay there when Delta Heavy was coming.
You did say you were like, hey, if we stay,
There's
we stay,
no
and
way.
like I appreciated the spaciousness that you invited into that, but yeah, it was Delta Heavy was kind of the one of the big ones that I was shooting for.
So oh, did you see? It was a blur. I was, for the viewers out there, I am completely sober and I intend to stay that way forever. And I've been sober for a year. So I was sober
Yeah.
to last Shams. Uh, but it's a blur. It's a blur as far as who was where and the music. So you saw Delta Heavy? Were you there with me or?
Yeah, so I was heading up and you were heading to the front. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm not feeling the front, so you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
And then I was kind of towards the back and I was there. And that was an interesting thing for me with this year was both Friday and Saturday night. I'm like, I'm not feeling like I'm not into this right now. And so I kind of went for a walk and ran into some friends, went back, got changed into some warmer clothes and just was like, yeah, you know what, these I don't have to chase these nights. There's always sometimes it's just listening to that night, and yeah. So I
The,
Sunday was a big thing for me, but yeah, Saturday was and Friday were both quiet.
the flow. Trust the flow.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know, Shambhala is a festival in British Columbia. 20,000 people gather together the last week of July every summer. I went there in 2022 and it changed my life. And I was a normal person. Look what happened. And I talk about it a lot because it's pivotal to my life. I go back every year. I organize Camp Free Hugs, link in the bio. And yeah, it's a big part of my life now.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing like my first festival experience was going to Wicked Woods, and I mean, I had been to festivals. I went to one in Germany that was a big one, but I had never like really dove into them. I was always kind of a spectator and like didn't
Mhm.
really, I didn't know how to dance. I didn't know how to, and it sounds really stupid to say now, but I just didn't know how to express myself. And it was interesting going to Wicked Woods as my first one where I was like, okay, Again, got separated from my friends, and you're never finding them again. And that's a really small festival. And found like a stage and was at the back, just like hands in pockets, didn't know how to move, didn't know how to be, didn't know how to be comfortable.
My hair's all
And
wet. Sorry.
I, it probably took me an hour of like standing there and being like, okay, they're moving like that, and get in. And eventually I got in and just kind of found a rhythm that I was enjoying. But it was a space where it's like, you can be anything you want to be at a festival. The only thing that's not okay to be is inauthentic. Like you spot it with people so quickly, and it's like not really and like an invited experience. But if you just show up being as weird as you possibly are and as authentic and genuine, you'll be accepted. And that, I think, was a big shift for me.
I've heard that story from many people. They feel like they're a spectator and they go and they're like, that was me too. I was like, what is this? I don't think this is for me. And then put a toe in the water, and then you realize that these people are not, they're just being themselves.
Yep.
And that can be beautiful and strange, and it's whatever you are, and it's accepted. And the people who are inauthentic, I think everyone has their own path and their own process. And just the fact that they're there is big. Just the fact that they're putting themselves in that space. And yeah, it's a process. I'm still finding who I am every time I go there. I mean, all the time in daily life as well. I think Shambhala is I think of it as like a time accelerator. It's like a time
Yeah.
machine. Takes you forward about a year. I think it's a full year, maybe more, to help you find out who you are. But it's a continuous process that will never end. Always
Yeah.
uncovering.
I think being in environments that just put us into discomfort, it's the same. It's ice plunges. It's signing up for a 10K. It's whatever it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're shifting your pattern and doing something uncomfortable, and going to festivals. If you're not used to being I don't know if anyone where it's a comfortable experience as far as just like, this is natural. Like it's just, it's amplified in every measure.
Takes courage to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell
But
me, tell our viewers about Wicked Woods. What is that?
so Wicked Woods is a smaller festival, and it is, I think, um, at the end of summer now. It was at the beginning of summer in 2023, and it's outside of Golden in Fairmount, just outside of the Fairmount Hot Springs in BC, Alberta. And
British Columbia, Canada. It's in
yeah,
Canada.
it's kind
Wait,
of right
you
on
are
the border.
Canadian. You are Canadian.
I am, yeah.
Yes. Where do you live? What
Uh,
city do you live in? What province?
so
What
I'm
province
in
do you live in?
I'm in Kelowna, British Columbia, so the West Coast.
Okay,
I'm about 4 hours from Vancouver.
yeah, that makes sense because
Um,
Base Coast is obviously on the coast, and I think Wicked Woods is around there too.
yeah, yeah, they're just.
You're
Uh,
just living in like Canadian festival paradise. I'm over here in Virginia.
it'd be really curious to see because um, there's ways of seeing the world, and like tourism, you see tourism ways of seeing the world. When you live somewhere, you see something completely different because you're not just seeing the sights and getting out.
Mhm.
um I'd be really curious to see kind of what is the domestic festival rave scene like in all of these different places. And
Like
um
where for example?
well, like Virginia, like we both have our
Bad,
experiences of living in space.
bad, bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, local fam, Ray fam. It's real bad. The whole East Coast is terrible. Everyone out here is just so like they organize their lives so that they can work. On the West
Mm.
Coast, in my view, people are organizing their lives so that they can live. The work supports their life. Here it's the opposite.
Yep.
And raves are not really conducive to success at work. Not in moderation, I think that they are because it allows you to find yourself in community. And I'm able to pour myself into my work because I have this. But
Yep.
I don't go out anymore really. I go out maybe 3 times a year past midnight.
Yeah.
A lot of people get sucked into it. They got to go out all the time, and that's not really conducive with like building a real life. Less is
I've,
more in this case, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I think I've always joked that it'd be an interesting day to do at a festival where everybody shows up for like, dress as your day job. Because like our group alone has like four nurses, several C-level people that, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like, well, no, this isn't like a degenerate group of people that are just going and getting high and like it's
That's
like
like the
no, like
public
these.
perception, right?
Yep.
Because they are themselves, and we aren't. Nobody is naturally wearing a nurse costume. That's an important job and that's profession. But at the core of them, they're not a nurse.
Yep.
Probably, if I have seen people in nurse costumes at these things, so maybe they
Yep.
are, but it's not necessarily that.
Yeah.
And when people are like, "Who are the people who go to these events?" I'm like, "Well, most of them are software engineers. Like, who do you think can afford? It's not cheap to be a raver. Like, tickets, the lodging, time off work. You
Yeah.
almost have to be a type A person just to get to that point where you can relax completely. Like, you have to be very organized to enable yourself to let go for a few days and then
Yeah.
go back to your life. It's not an easy endeavor.
Yeah. It's interesting to see as more people shift into it, and I mean, I think it's growing a ton.
You think
um
so?
Maybe that's my perception just because I've become more exposed to it. I don't
It
know
could
if
be. I
I
don't
have
know.
anything.
I have no idea. I'll
Yeah,
ask ChatGPT after this.
it's always an adventure whether it's what answer it gives. But I think that there is this kind of greater crisis from people right now of realizing, I saw something the other day and they called it like the great millennial lie, where it's like, go get the job, get the partner, get the kids, get the thing, like everything's going to be great. And it's like the a lot of people, myself included, just discounted our own loves, passions, dreams, because there was kind of like an order at which you had to do things in order to achieve that level of success that
Mhm.
you were supposed to achieve. And we're seeing more people. For me, it's art. I love painting. I love creative works. I'm like working on an art installation for festivals for next year that I'm applying for. Like that's the thing that I'm now exploring, and it's not purposeful. As a lot of my reading used to be like self-development books, business books, like everything was always very focused, and it was like, well, what
Mhm.
do I like? And then finding things now where you tap into that real joy and essence. And going to a festival isn't like a practical level up experience if you're in that mindset. I think it actually is, but it's not something that you expect it to be.
Absolutely. And I think that track is there because people feel like economically insecure. It's all about
Yeah.
security. Get the mortgage, get the job, get the partner who can split the mortgage with you, and then you don't have to date. You're locked in with that, and then you can like. I think
Yeah.
it's about security. It's a don't go too far because that's not safe. But where
Yeah.
where along the way do you find out who you actually are? And then I think people like I mean that was I can relate to that. And then you wander off and you're like I don't this is not working to find myself. And there's not a lot of community in society anymore. And we have a robust, magical, very strong community in the festival world, and it's appealing to a lot of people. I didn't know you painted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you put
I
your art out anywhere? Like, do you have an outlet online or?
No, I used to have an Instagram channel that I posted things, and
Yeah.
when I was living in Germany, they had a lot of the tunnels are they like kind of realized that fighting graffiti wasn't going to work, so they made them legal, and so you can go and do legal graffiti. And I met these guys, and they showed me how to do that, and um, yeah, I have an interesting curiosity around social media right now of like how do you engage with it authentically and have it not be.
So you started off as a tagger in Germany.
Well, I was painting a bit before that, but then in Germany
Uh-huh.
got to learn how to do graffiti and things like that.
That's
So
really
yeah,
cool. I want to see pictures of that. Do you have any from
uh,
those
I do.
days?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I really want to see
And,
those.
yeah. So they weren't. I never had a tag. I never. Um, I've always been like way too afraid of getting busted breaking laws. Like there's things where it's like the idea of getting busted and just you're not in like that much trouble, but just that just like terrified me. But yeah, mostly murals and things like that.
I've never seen a legible tag. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how you would get busted for that. They all just look like
No,
squiggly lines.
just like be in the act. I remember the very first day because everybody's told me that it's legal, and I'm up on this ladder and we're like doing
It's
this
legal,
like,
man. Go for
and then
it.
the cop car rolls up
Oh
as I'm up there.
no.
Hi, and they like give me a wave, and I was like, I've been told this is legal, and my German was decent, but not get out of trouble decent. And they just like kept driving, gave me a wave. I was like, okay, well, I think I'm in the clear.
What were you doing? Why were you in Germany?
I went over there to do my master's.
Oh,
So
in what?
public, international business and foreign trade,
Okay. Why Germany?
which it was a sister school of the school that I went to here at Okanagan College in BC, and they had an arrangement, and so we knew of it. But then one of my professors, I met with him a couple years after I graduated, and he said that public post secondary in Germany is free, and like I didn't even believe it, and so I messaged the school saying, "Hey, like I didn't want to sound stupid and say like." I heard it's free. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm an international student from Canada.
Yeah.
I don't have any roots. And, I'm just trying to do some budgeting for tuition. And they apologized because I think the tuition was like, there was some fees. And so it was 35 euros a semester. So like,
I didn't realize
like,
that's for international students too. I guess I
yeah,
assumed they would be paying like out of state, like or whatever they'd be paying. That's amazing.
yeah, I don't, but, yeah, I did 18 months over there. And I
Wow.
mean, the irony is that that was kind of in that process. I had started and I was starting to connect more with myself of like what I actually want to do instead of just climbing the ladder, be like, well, what do I want? And for my master's in international business and foreign trade, I convinced my thesis supervisor to let me do my thesis on like community creative hubs and maker spaces and the like benefits
Okay.
to all the people in it. And yeah, went pretty well. But
That sounds right up
yeah,
your alley based on what you're talking about creating art installations for community events.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was challenging because a part of me was like, oh, I could get a big internship with like SAP or BASF, BMW, like all of these mega corps. I had opportunities to pursue to try and like get an internship there and do my thesis for them. And, maybe, that heads down that path even further of
Hmm.
the rigid suit outfit. And, yeah, I'm very grateful that I didn't make that choice.
So, does your work you've been doing since then reflect your personal passions and values?
Some of it does. But I would say that I'm making a shift with work right now because like I'm intensely focused on efficiency in so many things in my life. And I've been a consultant for many, many years of helping companies realize that, helping people realize those. And it's like something where I have always been about it, but now getting into like that environment, and like I always wanted to help companies and help people to like, I'm like, let's not have you doing all the steps, let's have you doing something that you're actually really capable of, the creative, the whatever. um yeah, I've gotten the company I've been with for 4 years now and gotten them to their place where everything runs smooth without me, and now just kind of starting that journey to figure out what it is that I want to do and gives that passion.
Sorry, the next step. So, what are you're going to stay in the area though?
Probably. Yeah.
Are you hoping to make the art more of like you're living from that?
I think that I look at that and I just look and think like, oh, there's no way that I could make a living as an, like, I think there's a blockage there that
Yeah,
I'm afraid of taking that step into it.
I think that's very common.
Yeah.
I've wanted to make music for a long time, and I just was like, well, it's going to be terrible and it's too much work, so I'm just not even going to start.
Yeah.
But my friend encouraged me. Recently, I did produce 2 tracks,
Yeah.
and I also put together a mix in GarageBand. It took me an entire weekend.
Yeah.
I got all the tracks from Beatport. I chopped up all the bits I wanted. I did all the transitions. It was a terrible mix, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And as an outcome of that exploration, I decided I'm absolutely not going to be someone who makes music for a living, and probably not even a hobby. It's hard.
Yeah.
And I just realized how much I didn't know. You know, there are things in life that I do know how to do well, like tend a
Yeah.
lighthouse. Uh, and I just know how far I would have to go, even as a hobby, to come anywhere close. And my friend was like, well, if you're passionate, you should pursue it. I'm like, well, that's not really enough, is it? I only have so many minutes left on this earth, and I have to choose between making mediocre music, or doing so many other things which are going to make me very happy. You know, like there's different paths,
Yeah.
and mainly community organization is kind of my thing right now.
Yeah.
Just bringing people together, and not just at Shams, like at work. We're doing Camp Free Hug Shenandoah this year again, second year. It was mostly my coworkers last year and my mom and my kids and a
Yeah.
couple other friends, and they had so much fun. There's a bunch of pictures, link in my bio, Camp Free Hugs Shenandoah. We have a bunch of pics from last year. Really cool. Really good vibe. I'm hoping to have a lot more people this year. So
And so what is it? Explain it to me.
Camp Free Hugs in general,
Well, yeah, I
it's
guess.
just camping with friends. That's all it
Yeah.
is. But kind of in a very intentional way.
Mhm.
Intentional. The intention is community. In one word, it's community. And
Yeah.
it's I drive the organization and the logistics and getting everyone there and where we're going to camp and everything in like a military-esque fashion. Like my documents are essentially an op order. An
Yeah.
op order is what you would issue in the military, like what you're doing, what the target is, who's doing it with you, timelines, communications. But the whole point of that is when you get there, you feel completely free to do anything you want for the entire week or the entire weekend.
That's
You need
cool.
that structure to feel completely safe and really just connect with yourself and people around you. So there's no agenda once you're there, nothing. We might just sit around the fire the entire weekend, and that's completely acceptable. There is
Yeah.
a lot to do in the area. So people do stuff. There's fishing and hiking, off-roading,
Oh,
biking. We didn't even touch like 75% of the stuff there was to do because camp was so fun. We are just vibing. So that's it. That's what Camp Free Hugs is. But then
yeah,
we get
that's
to
awesome.
carry those relationships through the rest of the year.
Yeah.
My daughter's making dinner. She
Hot plate.
she forgot that when you put a plate in the air fryer, it does come out hot.
Those are
Yeah,
beautiful lessons.
yeah. I've made that mistake. It took me like 4 or 5 times before I permanently remembered that. Yeah, if you put a bowl of something in the air fryer, it's gonna come out hot. It's not like the
Yeah.
microwave. Ceramic is getting baked.
You glue a fingerprint onto the side of the the bowl, and all
Yeah,
of a sudden,
exactly. Leave part of your finger on there.
yeah, yeah. I think you talk about the community side, and that was a big part of my research. There's a book called the Great Good Place, I think. Uh, but his thesis and his idea was like we all need a third space. So he's the one that coined the term third space.
Oh,
And
what's their name? I don't know who coined that.
what is his
It doesn't
name?
matter. I thought you said his name. It's okay. So the
Um,
author who defined that term. Okay.
yeah, Ray Oldenburg.
Okay.
So he, a big thing was like we all have three spaces. One is home and family. The second is work and profession, and the third is different all around the world. So in Germany, the beer houses or the coffee shops, Italy, the coffee shops, a lot of places that's church, but you need like a third space where you're a part of community and peers and things like that. And they're separate from
Yeah.
work and separate from family because you need to have that. And his thing was built off of the fact of how in North America we've just lost that. That doesn't really exist. And we're very individualistic, but we don't have like community spaces in it. And I think that we need that. My idea for that was through creativity. People
Mhm.
come together. It's like you don't need the tools, you don't need the know-how, you just need the idea and the interest, and come together with a place. And people just love creating interesting things. And yeah, I think that we need more community and more connection to each other.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying, what I am creating, a third space.
Yeah,
And one thing that occurs to me is participating in those third spaces without your family necessarily. Like your partner and kids don't necessarily, like church, you would always, depending on the church, usually you would participate in that fully with your family. Because church is like
yeah,
the first thing that comes to mind for me, like community in America. And it does provide
yeah.
a very valuable community for many people. Uh, but if you don't go to church, where do you go? Everywhere you go is someone trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
So you can't, they'll kick you out if you don't, like, you can't just hang out at Starbucks all day. I guess you can, but they do expect you to buy something. You're not there for a community. You're just there to, like, work or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing of even like, so I was a late church bloomer. I went by myself, got baptized and confirmed at like 21. And like it became a big part of life, and it was the Catholic Church of all things. Um, and we don't need to go all the way down that path, but that was a temporary period of life. And it was interesting because, you'd shuffle in quietly to church, you'd sit there, and then, you'd, yep, peace be with you, peace be with you. And then you'd shuffle out of church
And
afterwards.
also
There's
with
still
you,
no, yes.
turn and greet the person next to you.
Yeah.
I was
But
I
don't,
was raised I was raised evangelical.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is like in America, it's like more serious. Like no drinking, no dancing. They just take it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to see, because I think that there's a ton of value to organized religion. I just think that there's also a ton of um, danger with hierarchical people that get power and utilize that power over
Like
others.
the Catholic Church. I didn't realize, does the Catholic Church have a when did this was in Canada?
Yeah. What about it?
Well, I guess I don't associate the Catholic Church with British Columbia.
Oh,
Like
yeah. I mean, a lot
Boston,
of,
Ireland. I mean, they're everywhere, but I guess because that happened to you, I guess I would have expected that it was more part of the culture there. Is it part of the culture there or?
no, no, it really isn't.
Hmm.
I got into the Catholic Church just because my grandma went there,
Okay.
and so
Yeah, that makes
I went
sense.
a couple times with her, and then when she was visiting, and I was like, oh, it's nice. Like I was in a new place, I didn't know anybody, and it was just nice to have a grounding. Like it was just nice to have that. And then I got involved with it was called the Vineyard, and it was kind of a new age church, and they had music and a coffee break, and like it was like community focused. And
That's more
like
of
at
what
one,
comes to mind when I think of British religion in British Columbia.
yeah, I mean it's cool because we've got so many different cultures here that they're like, we've got like a Buddhist temple here now, and so I'd love to do like a religious pub crawl. I think we need to work on the branding a little.
That's so funny. I never heard that term.
But it'd be interesting to go and see them all, because I think there are beautiful, anything that has a ceremonial experience, whether
Mhm.
that's how you start your dinner or you light a fire or anything that's just like a really intentional experience. I really love those. And I'm not an all or nothing guy by any means, but so to sign up and then be like, I'm now part of this church, I don't really foresee that being a thing. But all of those practices are really cool, and they all come from a really beautiful place. I think that from my perspective, sometimes they lose their path.
A lot of organizations do.
Yeah.
It was religion was described to me as like someone who was raising their kids in the church. They described it to me as they wanted their kids to have a backstop. Like they may go off and find their own path in life, but if they have a tough time, they know that they can just go down to the local parish and they can go in there and there's going to be a priest who's going to listen to them, their troubles, and they can just feel that sense of safety. And they have that community. They can just walk in there, instant community anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no downside to having that,
Yeah.
even if you don't take advantage of it. Just having it there, yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice. So my daughter she's done a lot of research into many different religions. She
Yeah.
will spend like a month at a time, just like the history and the adherence. We've been to a cathedral, we've been to a mosque, we've been to a Buddhist ceremony. We have a Quaker. Apparently, the Quakers do a worship meeting where they sit in silence
Oh,
in a
really?
circle. That's how this was described to me. So we're gonna a friend of mine is gonna she's getting that lined up for us. She wants us to come out by for that. And then a synagogue. So Aiana, my daughter's name is Aiana. She found out she's 3% Jewish,
Yeah.
which I told her because I'm 6% Jewish. And now she's like doing a deep dive in her Jewish heritage and she wants to go visit a synagogue. So she's doing it. She's doing the pub crawl. It's really neat to
Yeah.
see. But she's settled on Buddhism. Is that right, Aiana? Have you settled on Buddhism
Yeah.
as your religion for now?
An atheist, a Satanist, and a Christian, and then I'm now a Buddhist.
She said atheist, Satanist, Christian, Buddhist. That's an interesting path. Yeah. All right. We have a little Buddha statue. Oh, the last festival I was at, Ray Festival, but whatever you want to call it. I was just side questing and I came across this little table that was selling. Yeah, do you want to grab that Buddha over there? And I just found this Buddha statue and it was just kind of cool because it was like a little piece of my daughter there, you know?
And I actually meditate to it every night.
Yeah.
I meditate and then bow to it.
You can show.
I meditate and then bow to it every night.
Here. Position yourself so that the viewers can see your face in the camera there. There you go. This is my daughter Aiana. She was on one of the first 2 episodes of Camp Chat. Trial.
Yeah.
She's eating dinner. Oh my god. Just wait until you finish. Here, let me take this. Just don't say anything until you finish chewing.
Okay.
Okay. Just can I take this cookie?
No!
Oh my gosh. I would just like a couple sentences if you have the time about what Buddhism means to you.
Okay. So I'm a teenager, going through like anxiety and stuff right now, and I have a lot of time, like a lot of trouble, like having to deal with the relationships I'm in. Like, I don't know if I even have worth. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. So every night, to clear my mind, I meditate to the Buddha every night, and it helps me clear my mind like all the time. Like when I finish meditating to it, I walk out feeling like a brand new person. Like I've just been like healed of all my pains. So that's why I meditate every night with the Buddha. That's why I think Buddhism is the best.
It's really cool.
I also believe in reincarnation and believing in the present and the past.
The present and the past?
It's helping me a lot, yeah.
What does that mean?
The present and the past, like, don't worry about what happened in the past. That stuff doesn't exist now. It only exists in your mind. So if you stop thinking about it, it won't exist anymore.
Yeah, all we have is the present moment, right?
Yeah.
The past is just electrical signals in our brain. It doesn't exist.
Like the other half of this cookie doesn't exist anymore. Only exists in my mind. Yeah.
It's just a memory now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, this ain't my camp chat.
I'm gonna have you on in February, okay?
Alright.
That's awesome.
My son Amias was the episode previous to this. We
Yeah.
did like 45 minutes. I'm so proud of him.
I think it's really cool that you're creating a space for your kids to like explore those things. And because I think, I can't speak for you, but growing up, you know, the common thread was kind of just did what you were told. And it's like, if you were Catholic, you're growing up Catholic, and I don't care if you hate going to church, you're going. And there wasn't a thing of like, well, what do you feel like? And I think that that's really cool.
Yeah, there was absolutely none of that. Everyone I knew was evangelical Protestant. Everybody, school, everywhere. And
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that. Nobody even talked about it. This is pre-internet. I'm Gen X, by the way. Gen X.
Yeah.
So I had no context. And then at some point when I got the internet, I just Googled like Christianity. Like, what am I? I didn't have
Yeah.
any context. And then I was like, there's actually, most people do not believe this. And that just kind of led me down a rabbit hole. And I consider myself, I don't know what to call myself now. I guess just non-theological. I consider myself a non-theological Christian, Buddhist, Islamist, and Jainist, whatever, Shinto, whatever you want to call it. I like to take the wisdoms from each of them, but non-theologically.
Yeah.
And who can say that I'm not a non-theological Christian? Who's qualified to say that?
I think like I don't love labels because I think it collapses us into like, well, you're this, then therefore you must be this, this, and this. It's like, well, no, like exactly like you said, I believe in this and this and this, and you don't have to have one big label to assign to it. I would say similarly, like I would probably most of the Buddhist teachings would be things that I follow in my life. But there's millions of things out there, and I just try to live the best life I can.
Absolutely. And Cameron, who interviewed me on his podcast, his podcast is excellent, by the way. Who Are You? He's done dozens of episodes. He gets really interesting people on there, and he is a truly gifted interviewer. He did an interview with a Muslim man who immigrated here a decade ago, and he was explaining what Islam means to him. And
Yeah.
it's peace, and it's love, and it's connection, and it's community. And I was listening to that, and I was just thinking about. I realize Islam is a large and spacious religion with many, many adherents, but I have in mind the followers of Islam that I interacted with in Iraq, and then later as a counter-terrorist program officer. And we try and developing moderate Islam in West Africa. I worked on that for a few years. And we needed to do that because there's many strains that are not moderate and peaceful. And so I was just trying to square that. Like, is he properly representing Islam? I eventually had to conclude that he has his own religion. It's called the doctrine of, I don't remember his name, but it's the doctrine of him. And it's what
Yeah.
there's no one else who thinks like he does. If you pick anyone else in the world and said, you two have the same religion, and you had them discuss their philosophy, sooner or later, they're going to disagree on something. Everyone has their own personal framework, their own personal religion, and they incorporate their history and what their parents tell them. But ultimately, they make their own decisions.
Yeah.
So I think we agree.
Yeah, I think the challenge is the idea that everybody has to think and feel and act the same, and it's like, well, no, like anytime someone's like, I have the right answer, and you're like, well, you have your right answer, like, and that's wonderful. And like learning that moderation, I think that's the thing for me. And I tend to get my like more conservative friends call me left wing, my left wing friends call me right wing. It's just
You're
like
doing it right.
There's always a other side to the coin, and it's not the right one's right or wrong. It's just like there's more to think about it than what that one simple soundbite is going to assign to it.
Yeah, people like to. I think there's, again, going back to the security. There's security in groups. There's security in feeling like millions of people feel exactly the same way you do, and everyone else is wrong and should just listen to you. It's a safe feeling.
Yeah,
that's my perception anyway.
Yeah, and maybe that's why we get along so well, because we're side questers. We're like, no, I don't want to be with the group right now. I'm just going to go on adventure and see what happens.
Life for me has been one long side quest, dude. I don't even know what the main plot is anymore. There isn't one,
Huh.
It's all a side quest. It's all just one big long side quest.
Yeah. If a friend of mine, old friend, acquaintance, told me recently, like, they had a shift in their life, and him and his wife split up, and he came in and was like, oh, I'd almost won the game. I'd almost finished the game. I had the wife, like we were going to have kids. We were going to do the things. It's like, well, no, like there's no game and there's no finish line and there's no like, and it was just like really disheartening to hear and be like, oh, that must be really tough to experience because you've thought that you're getting here and now you're back here, but it's like, it doesn't work like that. We don't get to just finish the game. You die when you finish the game. And depending on your Buddhist beliefs, you may not even die. But yeah.
You failed at an arbitrary goal that you set for yourself. That must be really, that must be really disheartening.
Yeah.
I mean, I've certainly felt that way in my life. Absolutely. I still kind of feel that way.
It's hard to like, it's interesting because we're having this conversation. It's January 4th today. It's like, I don't want to go to a gym because I know that they're just going to be like gong shows. Everybody's like, this year's going to be the year, and everybody's setting all these big
tomorrow,
goals.
Monday tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow morning. Oh, geez. Oh, man. Maybe I'll go after lunch.
Yeah, I don't know what the best time is. I think the mornings get smashed. Tons of people in there. Everybody's like, I'm going to hit the gym at 5 a.m. every day, and it's like 6 weeks. I kind of take a breather in January, and I do outdoor things exclusively, and then I'll go back into the gym. But people set a goal and they have an expectation, and then it's not delivering, and it's hard, but it's like, if you don't have the goal and you just love going, like that's the people that are in the best shape are oftentimes the ones that are like, no, like I love going to the gym. And I don't love going to the gym. I love doing outdoor stuff, but I don't love going to the gym. And so,
but it's dry and it's warm and it's convenient. There's a lot of can't always go on an epic hike or go for a run, especially in Canada.
I mean, so where I live out just outside of the city, there's tons of forest around me. I hike out my back door, and I'm 10 minutes from cross country ski trails. And my big passion, and it's so hard to explain to people because I love cross country skiing, and it is, if you don't enjoy it or haven't tried it, there's no way to explain it to someone because it's just great, but it doesn't seem like it on paper.
My dad loves it.
Oh yeah?
He just disappears into the wilderness on a pair of skis, or he used to anyway. I don't think he does it as much anymore, but
yeah.
What do you like about it?
So I take my dog, and it's just so peaceful. And like at night, a headlamp and everything's just like bright from the moon.
Wow.
Oh, it's the best.
That sounds magical.
It's so peaceful, and you're getting a workout, but the joy is just like, you're just kind of like getting into the rhythm. It's similar to swimming.
How long do you go out for?
This year I've got an event that I want to do that's a 40K ski, and so that'll be it's very similar in like jogging efforts. So going out for an hour jogging and an hour cross country skiing are pretty similar in how the difficulty. So yeah,
it's like 20 miles. Is that a marathon?
Yeah. So 42K is a marathon.
Wow.
So 25 miles, I guess.
That's a lot of skiing.
It'll be a big day.
Oh, it's the same amount of effort, but are you covering more distance? You must be covering more distance in the skis.
Mile for mile, they're very similar because you're going up hills. Yeah. Yeah, like I did 20K a few days ago, and it took me 2 hours.
So you're like an above average cross country skier. Like runners who do marathons, I would say, are above average runners.
Yeah, I mean, average is a tough measure. But I've got a lot of friends like 7 to 10K, 45 minutes to an hour. That's like a nice, you pop out, you go for a little ski. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can just like picture your viewers right now just falling asleep with me talking about cross country skiing.
Campfire chat, man. Anything that comes up, anything goes.
I'm
not worried about clicks. I'm never going to make money from this. Just for fun.
like I believe that's the best way to go about life. You know, you just whatever
Yeah.
happens, happens, and you do it because you enjoy it.
It's so interesting talking to people in this way. Like, probably 11 people are ever going to watch this. But just the fact that it's for someone else, it adds a completely different vibe. I can't really put my
Mm,
finger on why. But even the very first camp chat I did with Amias, with my son, I had a conversation with him that I've never, there's a vibe to it that I've never really felt before.
yeah,
It's
that's
interesting.
cool.
I've learned every guest I've come on, I've learned something about them that I had no idea before.
Yeah.
Even people I've known for years. I didn't know you did community art installations. Oh, you said no good.
So this is
Instagram.
the first time I built a thing for with the idea of it being a public thing. Like I do lots of painting and I've got a bunch of stuff laying around and
Yeah.
like those are things that I just enjoy the act of painting. This is the first time that I'm doing something that like this I'm excited to see how people interact with it. And so that's a very different experience for me.
So your art has been private until now?
Mhm.
Okay.
I've done art for the sake of just the creation of doing art.
Yeah.
One of my favorite paintings, I've got it hanging down on the wall, isn't my favorite painting, but underneath it is my favorite painting. It was beautiful. I was doing this stuff and you just kept going because I was having fun. And the end results, whatever, it's nice. It's not
Yeah.
great. But underneath it, I can still remember what was underneath it and that one I love. But I'm like, you just keep painting. You just have fun with it.
That's a really cool way to do it. It's going to be so, I definitely want feedback on your experience sharing that with other people.
It'll be interesting. I'm applying to 3 different festivals for grant funding for it. And it's like a 20-foot dome that will have different
Mm-hmm.
lighting and stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to see how people
It's a
participate with it.
20-foot dome.
Yeah,
That's your installation, a 20-foot dome.
yeah. So it
That's way more than I expected. I thought you were just going to set up some paintings in a space that was already provided for you. This is like a constructed. Wow,
yeah.
it's really
So
cool.
it'll be a dome, and it'll have 2 types of lighting in it. So there's a sodium style lighting, and it's got a really narrow band of wavelength. So basically colors don't exist under this lighting. You can see tones. And I use this shirt as my like practice when I'm testing things. And you turn it on and you just see like, you see it, but you don't see any colors.
Hmm.
And then the installation is there'll be chairs and stuff in there, and there'll be some opportunities for people to paint and to use markers on the kind of like the furniture that we're building for the inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I'm playing with the idea of how, but like I've built out right now. If you sit still in there for 10 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever I decide, then those lights will turn off and high power UV lights will turn on. So you go from an experience at a festival where it's loud and it's crazy, and then you walk into this place and there's no color whatsoever. It's everything is just removed. And then if you just like chill and sit into that, like, because it's probably going to be uncomfortable, and I hope it is. And if you're able to like be with that, then the UV lights kick on and everything's like wild and like just such a big contrast. Yeah, that's kind of the
That's the
inspiration right
target
now.
experience. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, we'll see.
You mentioned Instagram earlier, like trying to
Mhm.
work with social media. So for me, I really like Instagram because it just allows me to get myself out there
Mhm.
to maybe 20 people who I know, who it's just nice to like, it's just me. There's nothing fake about it. I'm not trying to accomplish anything with this. Again, I'm not an influencer. I'm not going to make money. It's just so fun to be myself. And 6 months later, I might get someone who I haven't seen in a while, and they just randomly mention one of my posts, and then we have a whole conversation about it. It's
Yeah.
just fun to have it existing in the universe. And then new people I meet, I'm like, hey, here's my Insta, and they can go back through like a year's worth of reels and they get to know me. I don't have to
Yeah.
have my entire life story through small talk with every single new person I meet. I mean, here, catch up in the last 45 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a ton of stories when I was in Germany, and I kind of documented my experience through that and kept in touch with friends. And um, but I think part of it was coming back. I came back right at the start of COVID, and there wasn't like a lot to post about. Like before, I was like, guess where I'm
Sure.
going, and I'm sitting on a plane, and I'm going to Italy, or I'm. It was just an adventure all the time. And then I tried to come back to it. I'm like, yeah, this just doesn't feel like authentic for me right now, and so it's just set dead.
Yeah. Well, everyone has their own path. I could never
Yeah,
leave Instagram only because one of the ducks I gave to someone has their own Insta account now, and I got to keep up on that. This duck goes everywhere.
that's
Caribbean,
awesome.
Europe, California. Duck gets out more than I do. Charlie. His name's Charlie. I'll put a
Yeah,
link in the description. Let me put it out here.
yeah.
Hey Siri,
Just
set a
click.
reminder to put a link to Charlie's Insta in the description. Sweet.
Yeah, I've still got my 2 ducks from you. One
I've
of them
given
I
you
wrote the name
two?
on. Well, the first year that we met, you gave me one.
You know, I'm not supposed to give away more than one to each person. Did I
Oh,
give
we
you
can cut
another one
this.
in 2025?
We
I'll
can we
edit this
can, we
out.
can cut this out of the podcast here.
It's okay. So I've stopped asking people to keep the ducks that I give them forever.
Yeah.
Instead, I say they have to promise to find this duck a good home.
Hmm.
Because not everyone wants a duck. But a quest to find a duck a good home, that's a little more, they don't feel the pressure, you know?
Just a
They might find a good home for it in 10 minutes. You know, like,
yeah.
hey, do you think this duck is cool? Sure, okay. There you go. They're just traveling through our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think anytime we're in possession of a thing where you're like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this thing, it just becomes stressful. And
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a cool thing to be able to just gift to somebody else to be like, yeah, whatever happens that you want to do with it, go for it.
At Shams this year, I had my arms a candy recovered with my most treasured. I had like this necklace thing, like I had all these little treasures, like crap hanging out my backpack. Saturday morning, I woke up and I was like, none of this. This is not me. This is not like the
Yeah.
value. These memories are beautiful, but and I gave them all away. I made sure they went to good homes, but I found
Yep.
all of my treasured. Like I had a Delta Heavy candy I've had for years, and I found someone just going nuts in the Delta Heavy set. And I was like, "Hey, you want this candy?" They were so excited, and now they have a candy they got at the Delta Heavy set at Shams. You know, it's gonna be so much more meaningful to them, and it was
Yeah.
meaningful to me, but now it has meaning for someone else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same for me. Like I've sat down a few times to make candy and I'm like, this just doesn't, it's not me. And then
I always get the
even
length wrong. It's always either too loose or too tight, and then they break, and I'm really bad at that.
oh, you just jettison these things all over the dance floor. You're like, just yard sale. Yeah, I don't do my first year, first maybe even second year. I was like really big into the trinket scene. I was like, oh, it's fun, it's neat, and like
Yeah.
Actually, my first sham, I went and I was like just started wire wrapping, and so I
Yeah.
was like these rocks, wrapping them up in copper wire, and then that would be the thing that I give out, and it's like, yeah, this is a rock from here, like this is, and
That's
that
really cool.
felt,
Yeah.
you
More
know,
meaningful
more
than just the pieces of canned plastic that a lot of people pass out. I started
I definitely
refusing trinkets at one point because I had so
yeah,
many, I didn't know what to do with them, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't want another tiny plastic duck. But then
yeah,
once I realized that they pass through, I would be like, "Oh, thank you so much for this gift," and then I'd turn to the person next to me and be like, "Isn't this duck cool?" And they would take it. You know, just it made me happy for a second mostly
yeah,
because the intention of it, you know.
yeah.
And then I pass it on.
I saw a really cool video this guy posted this year at Burning Man, and he talked about gifting culture, and he was like, no, like if you give a gift to someone, he's like, if I give you something and you do the like, oh, I don't have anything to give you back, it cheapens the experience. It's like just receive it.
Absolutely. I'm not
With
looking.
B,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I don't want
Yeah.
anything back. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. You know? I don't want whatever random thing you fumbled for, whose only intention is to try and bring some sort of equality to whatever it is we're doing here. Yeah, it cheapens it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always cheapen
And
it. Sometimes there's a
no,
meaningful exchange, but they shouldn't feel any. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Even, it's, the two big things. We've got New Year's, and then we just came out of Christmas and all the gifts. And we had talked a bit about Christmas gifts. And like,
I'm done.
I hate the gift experience at Christmas. I'm
It's
like, I want
ridiculous.
experience people. I want quality time. I want that. But I don't want to give you a list of things, my grocery shopping list that you have to go and just, you have to spend money on me because you're supposed to. And I also, I've gotten some amazing gifts, and that makes it pretty difficult. My brother especially is like really good at buying gifts, and he's like surprised me huge. And I'm like, my gifts are kind of crap to you. Like, I'm not, it's not something that I love going and just walking around the mall looking for stuff for hours. And, but yeah, just the gift culture, and especially, you see it at festivals of giving and stuff. It's an interesting dynamic.
Well, now, so I'm completely done with with the consumerist part of Christmas. I'm not interested
Yeah.
at all. The only presents I'm interested in are someone else's presents.
Yeah.
Cheesy. I got my kids this hammock. That's the only thing. $60. I didn't even buy the hammock. I just bought the hammock stand. $60 on
Mhm.
Amazon. I give it to them on December 2nd. That's it. That was my only participation, and they've been in this thing nonstop the entire month. Uh,
Yeah.
like I went to, it's all future trash. 99% of it is future trash. Like they got a lot of stuff for Christmas. I got photos of them sitting around unwrapping all these presents. Where are they? They played with them for a few days and now they just go in the garbage. It's just such a capitalist turn the wheel. But the trinket passing on, perhaps when you have gifts that you don't really need, maybe you try and find a good home for them, even if it's only on Craigslist.
Yep. Facebook
Like
Marketplace. I can't get.
I went to a Christmas party and they did a white elephant. They went in the living room. 30 people went into the living room and haggled over garbage for an hour and a half. Like pretty much by definition,
Yeah.
white elephant, you're bringing something that nobody wants. And they weren't talking to each other. They weren't conversing. They weren't really building community. They're just fighting over trash. And a small group of
Yeah.
us collected in the kitchen, and we were like the rebels, the people who didn't bring anything to the white elephant. We had a great time. It was actually an improv crew, a local improv crew. Oh my god, they were so funny. One of them invited me. They invited me to come improv with them, which I might do that. I might do that.
That'd be an interesting
I've
experience.
always assumed that I would freeze up and be terrible at improv, but a friend of mine has been encouraging me. She's really good at doing like a back and forth, like building
Yeah.
on bits with me, and that's been going. I don't know. And she's like, "You're doing it. That's improv. Just take the other person's joke and say, and then you build on it with each other. It's like teamwork." So I'm like, "Well, maybe I will go try it out."
I got called up on stage once. It was my birthday, and I was at an improv show in Vancouver, and they're like, "Come on up," and they're
Oh,
like, "Okay," and
jeez.
like,
I don't know about that.
and my brain, and I'm like, Ave Maria, and they're like, "Okay," and name a
What's
place, and it
Ave
was like,
Maria? Is that
like,
just
I can't
gibberish?
sing. I think it's like a choiry song or something. I don't know.
Ave Maria?
And yeah, that
Okay,
one.
okay. Yeah, yeah, Ave Maria. Yeah, of course.
And
That's what came to
they're like,
mind.
"No,
Ave Maria.
name a location," and I was like, "Romania," and they're like, "Name a different location." I was like, "Switzerland," and she's like, "Better luck next time." Like, just I was like, "I don't know." My whole world just exploded as soon as you asked me a question.
I can think of 6 Switzerland jokes off the top of my head right now. I don't know what they were doing. That was a bad improv troupe.
Okay, let's hear them.
No, I can't. I'm too on the spot now. I'm freezing up.
That's
I
that's
don't know.
really all you're
Chocolate,
going to feel on.
skiing, gold, neutrality. Like there's a lot. There's a lot to work with there.
Yeah, I think that there's like getting into that comfortable space, and so like I've been trying really hard to have no defaults in my life. So the like, how's it going? Like I don't play that game anymore, and like so like
Like if someone
when somebody
asks
asks
you, "How's it going?"
it's good, fine. Oh, it's good. Like I'll like pause and think and be like, oh, it's been a great week. This is like try to like genuinely respond to things. You'd be
What
amazed.
about? Are you
A
ever
lot.
like, "I'm doing bad, dude. I'm doing so bad right now," and they're just like, "I
Just
don't
do
actually
random.
care. I was just saying hi."
Yeah, I've got real bad gas right now. I'm just dying. Like I just no,
You stopped me on the way to the bathroom, dude. Get out of the way. This is an emergency.
um, no, I just think that like all the habitual things where you answer it without thinking, we lose that, and it's maybe a bit more into the improv side of like actually having a moment to kind of reflect and think and bring out something that you're genuinely doing, feeling, thinking, whatever that is at the time. But yeah, I don't ask how's it going, and people get a real response when they ask how's it going.
One time, I bought a cookie at a movie theater, and the person gave me the cookie, and she's like, "How are you today?" And I said, "I'm really, really bad." And she was
It's like
just
a
like,
50.
she froze for a second. She was like, "Would you like a free cookie?" Like, what is she supposed to do? But that was really sweet of her. The only thing under her control at that point was she could offer me
Yeah,
a free cookie. That was so sweet, right?
that's
It
amazing.
seems like a little bit, but that was the most that she could. She was doing the most for me that she possibly could. I was like, I'm good. Sorry for bothering you. Yeah,
You're just dropping this drama on her.
yeah. Um, but yeah, boring questions. I don't ask people what they do anymore. And if somebody asks me what I do, I say I'm a lighthouse keeper.
Yeah.
And if they ask any follow-up questions, I say it's trade secrets, proprietary information. I can't say anything else. And then I direct them to my LinkedIn. um,
Please tell
yeah.
me you have it
So
on your link.
it's I mean, it's a public website. You can check it out yourself. Um, and then what I ask is what do you do to make the? I have a few questions. What do you do to make the universe better?
Oh yeah.
One person thought for an hour and then came back to me and said, "I always wash my hands." That's my favorite answer so far.
It's the little things.
Another question is, what are you passionate about right now?
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals right now? What's something you're looking forward to? Those are kind of like, if
Yeah.
their work is part of that, then they will bring it up. If they don't actually
Yeah.
care about their work and it's not important to who they are or this
Yeah.
conversation, then it won't come up and it shouldn't, especially in DC, man. Second question, what's your name? What do you do? Instant
Yeah.
hierarchy. Where are you in this rat race that we're all trying to navigate? Are you important to me? Are you useful to me? Do you have
Yeah.
status? That's what the question is for, at least around here.
When I like playing dumb with that question, and like they're like, "Oh, what's your name? What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm Drew." Like, really love painting right now. Like that's and you can see them like, "Oh, but I want to like, what's your
How do you
career?" And
get
it's like, I
money
don't,
out of that? Where does your money
I
come
don't know if I
from?
can make a career out of this, but I like I just maybe I could sell some. It's like, oh, but like, what do you do currently? It's like, well, I'm mostly like trying some watercolor, like just
I love
no,
that. What do you do? It's not what do you. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna start doing that.
yeah.
Well, I try to run 3 times a week and just like deflect. What do you do for work? Well, hang out with my kids and.
Just mostly put in time cards. That's my job. Like I put in time cards and they give me money. That's the big.
It's so weird that
Yeah.
the way I pay for my life is I sit down at a computer and I do things to that computer that will yield me eating food at some point. Like it's just really odd to me. If I press the keys in this right way and move my mouse in this particular series of ways, I get to keep living.
Yeah. I'm very fascinated to see um, how this world shifts with everything and like UBI and all of this stuff, because you're like, the world's going to be very different in 10 years time. It's not 100 years time anymore. It's like a decade from now, everything will be very different.
Yeah, it's accelerating.
It's an interesting time to be alive. It's not boring.
Or maybe not. It might not be that different. I don't feel like things are actually that different than like 20 years ago.
Interesting. How so?
I mean, my life is not that different. I go to work. I do lighthouse stuff, just like I was doing back then, and I eat pretty much the same food. Like my life hasn't changed. Like I guess this thing's cool, but you know, it's not that big a deal to me. My kids sit around playing
Yeah.
video games most of the afternoon. That's what I did when I was a kid. They go to school, they
Yeah.
learn the same things that I did. So, not too worried about it.
Yeah. The thing that's gotten me through the last couple of years, and like not just gotten through, but I just have a great sense of peace from it, is the Chinese farmer parable. Have you heard this?
No.
So the and origins and correctness and the essence of the story is there's this farmer and they're in a poor village, and one night his only horse, the horse he uses to plow, go to town, everything he does, his only horse escapes, the fence breaks, horse gets loose, and the whole village is like, oh, that's so terrible. And he's like, it might be. And the next day the horse comes back and brings back a herd of wild horses, and everyone's, oh, that must be so amazing. It might be. And his son's out there trying to repair the thing, and one of the new horses kicks his son, breaks his leg. That's so terrible. It might be. And then the army comes through and they're conscripting fighting age men, and is because his son's leg is broken, they don't take him, and everyone's like, oh, that's so great. It might be. And it's just like, we never know good or bad. There's no good or bad.
I guess that gets to the core of my point. Exactly.
Yeah.
It might be. I think people like to extrapolate trends. It's just human nature. Oh, this is a trend.
Yeah.
Follow it to its absolute extremity and we're all going to die. But that's not how trends work. There's other forces in the world. Ourselves, for one thing. Just the fact that a lot of people don't want these things to happen. I mean, that alone is going to profoundly affect how these things play out.
Yeah. Well, I heard something that was saying if you predict what the future is going to look like in 10 years and it sounds plausible, then you're wrong. Like it's like worrying about it. There's like an old saying of like, those who fear death die twice. And you're like, it'll just be what it'll be. And I'll just live today.
Sometimes you'll see, I don't look at the news or commentary anymore. I used to just go nuts on that. Like what, commentary, analysis, economics, knowing all that stuff never affected my life. If anything, the opposite. I just focus right now on what I can control. But once in a while, you'll like, oh, this expert predicted back in 2010 that such and such thing was going to happen, and it's come true. So we should listen to this guy. And then you go and dig into it. The person was right about that one thing. Like no one knows. There's no authority. Like this Michael Burry guy from The Big Short. Yeah, he made $1 billion predicting the down. Okay, well, he's made a lot of predictions since then that didn't work out. Like, no one knows anything. We're all experiencing the future 1 second at a time together, and to try and predict that is just futility.
There's a really good book by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment, and the first 6 pages is just ultimate peace, because you're like, you can't predict what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, stop trying to control every outcome. Just be and just see how it happens and do your best to be in that moment, and things will work out the way they work out. And it's not like a Jesus take the wheel thing, but it's like, no, you
control what you can control, I can
Yeah.
control providing a safe space for my kids and teaching them what I know and building community, and that's all I can control right now. And that's enough. It has to be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Do you know who Steven
So
Pinker is? He's an author
I know
who
the
wrote a book, I think it's called Our Better Angels. And his main thesis is that the world is actually getting a lot better. Like the number of people, one of his main metrics is that the number of people who die every year in a war is the lowest it's ever been in like pretty much recorded human history.
interesting.
And then the people who live in poverty right now is the lowest it's ever been. Like we don't see these mega trends because they never get reported in the news. Like it's not interesting that the poverty rate is decreasing in China. Nobody wants to hear about that. They want to hear about all the coal they're burning and
Yeah.
new, all the bad stuff. So it's easy to lose perspective, I think. And then, these things are like oh man, I met up with someone recently and he's such a smart guy and thoughtful guy. All he could talk about was how terrible everything was with the world. That's all he wanted to talk about for hours. And then once
Yeah.
in a while I would jump in and I would be like, what are you doing about it? And he would just be like, well, I just keep tabs on things. I read these articles, there's a lot of smart people out there reporting on this. He's on his computer. He's like, what are you be here with me, man? Like, let's enjoy this
Yeah.
moment. You're letting this moment pass by, and for what? For nothing.
Yeah.
It's these things. They suck you in. The algorithms.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because the algorithms don't make it negative. We like if they did a study where it's like if you are constantly going after good news things and it'll feed you more of those things. But it's the fact that we go and we click on all the like, oh, what did they say? And we keyboard warrior in return in it. So it just gives you more of what you're putting out there and you circle.
I think yes, that's true, absolutely. But you have to make a conscious effort because I think the brain is more wired toward fear and outrage. That's more gut. So when you're just like
Yeah.
tired and just scrolling, you just even if it's just a microsecond, you're just more likely to get pulled down that negative path unless you're very
Yeah.
conscious about it. Like I'm very aggressive about what comes to me on my phone. I follow like I just purged my Instagram feed down to 50 people, most of whom never post. I just have them so I can message them. Yeah, you got to be very intentional. Very intentional about that stuff. It's not easy.
Yeah. I've got no Instagram on my phone or like no Facebook, no Instagram. And then on my computer, I've got an extension called Newsfeed Eradicator. So like, even if I go, like the doom scroll just can't exist. But
I
I
don't
can
really
still use
doom scroll
Marketplace.
anymore. Even like 3 months ago, one thing I tried to get rid of this year was doom scrolling. I think I've pretty much eliminated it. Anytime I feel
I've
like doom scrolling, I just sit. I just sit and wait for something else to happen. Usually I'll think of
yeah,
something, oh, this would be cool. And then I go and do that. Sometimes it takes a few minutes, or
yeah,
a friend will call me, or something is going to happen. That's better than doom scrolling. And I just wait for that to happen and breathe while I'm waiting.
doom scrolling's become like there's no satisfaction that comes from it anymore. Like I'm like it used to be like and you're like, oh god, like where's the good stuff? And so it's becoming easier to just separate out from it. But it's funny that my brain still wants that like that hit, like get in there, like oh it's gonna be there just around the corner. And like this is not, there's no value in it.
Yep. Oh, I've been down that rabbit hole many times. And then you get to
Yeah,
the end, you've been doing it for an hour and you've seen it all. And then you have to come to terms with the fact that even though you're locked in, there's nothing there. And then it's like withdrawal. It literally like
yeah,
physiologically is withdrawal. And then you have to go through a little
yeah,
mini withdrawal.
yeah,
And the next day you do it again. It's really interesting how my kids have handled this though. Like they have been 100% exposed to social media from very early on, but
yeah,
they've developed their own little mechanisms and ways through it. And that's one of the reasons why like the doom saying about social media is destroying our children, all this stuff. I mean, they're finding their way through it. I provide them some guidance, but
yeah,
like my son focuses on educational things and stuff that's funny, and he'll share it with me. And then my daughter integrates it completely with her social life. Like all her friends play the same games and they share things, and they're completely fine.
Huh. It's encouraging to hear that.
Yeah. And another thing, as far as like society is going downhill, like what are the quantifiable metrics? Are there fewer doctors being trained every year? Are there fewer people going to the military? Are there fewer people getting PhDs? Like what exactly what are the metrics for like none of this stuff is changing. People are still getting educated, they're living good lives. There's people who get sucked into these holes, but they would have gotten sucked into some hole anyway.
Yep.
It's just a different type of hole. Yeah. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm optimistic in the sense of like, who knows, like things sometimes need to get more challenging and visible for us to be able to realize that that's, when COVID happened, I know a ton of people that are just so grateful for that pause for a year there, a couple years, whatever. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I hate what I'm doing and I'm not going back to that. But we don't, at the time, a lot of people are just so pissed off that it's happening. And you're like, well, it's happening. So don't, whatever's in your control.
We had a great time during COVID. I was still married at the time. We
Yeah.
had a dog. Kids were at home. We had, yeah, we were just chilling. Like, oh, we don't have to go to work anymore. We can just hang out here and eat and do what we wanted at home all the time. Like this is dope.
Yeah. Yeah,
Different story if you live alone, I suppose. But yeah,
I did the COVID. Yeah, we moved in real fast together.
Yeah,
her kids,
get in.
family.
Yeah.
It was that. It's interesting all through like my history, my life. You look at the like benchmarks of like, well, there's before that and after that, and like your timestamps in there. And then there's this really big timestamp of COVID where a bunch of stuff happened, but you're like, I don't know when it really like. It's not like a one-time event that happened. It was an experience.
The timelines get fuzzy in there, like 2020, 2021, 2022, like because there were different lockdowns in different places, and they came and they went, and yeah.
I was very fortunate because I defended my thesis in Germany February 17th, 2020. So I was like,
Wow.
there was stumbling starting to happen about it. I was supposed to go work a contract to.
Where it started in Seattle. So we went to literally the weekend it dropped. The news dropped on like a Monday. The Saturday before, we attended a massive wedding, hundreds and hundreds of people. And then we got the news on Monday that it was spreading like wildfire in Seattle. And we both, me and we developed a very strong fever and cough. And we thought for sure we had gotten COVID, but we got tested later and we didn't. But it was a strange coincidence.
Well, that works out well then.
Yeah.
I think everybody.
We were like, we're gonna die. This. We're gonna die. We're patient zero in the first city. Like this is it. Yeah. But then we felt better and we were like, oh, we're immune now. Cool. We're good. Which was not
true. No. Just is what it is. I went to London.
We've got about 1 minute left. I don't usually like to go more than 90 minutes. I don't think my viewers are that patient.
We can start the wrap up process.
Yeah, we can keep talking afterward. I just want to stop recording.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much, Drew. Campers, good night. I'll see you around the universe.
Thanks so much.